Hello everyone, today I will show you how to set up the Go development container for VS Code that I've been maintaining for about a year and I still keep updated. I use it every day at my work and for my personal projects and I really love it. Uh, Okay, let's go. Let's jump right into there. Let's go into features. Uh, the main one is based on Alpine 3.12 to keep it a bit smaller and with less vulnerabilities. Whereas there's also a version based on Debian, Bullseye Slim, which is a bit bigger and it has some security vulnerabilities. For example, in Git, or like because it uses older packages, but it should be still safe to use, I guess. But you may want to stick to Alpine. It's a bit smaller and more secured, so it's pretty nice. Um, it has a custom terminal. It's based on Go 1.15, which is the latest as of today, which is 26th of September 2020. Um, and there's a bunch of other features. You can look at it in the GitHub. The GitHub is QDM12 slash Go Dev Container. There's also a lot of uh, there's Golang CI-lint, which is probably the best meta linter for Go, and there's a bunch of other tools listed here, like DLV for debugging, or other tools that integrate with VS Code. There are also terminal Go tools like mockgen or mockery to generate mocks. If you use interfaces and you need to write good unit tests, you should use. I recommend mockgen. Mockery is also good with it comes from the Testify package. And finally, it is more or less, yeah, it is actually cross-platform. It works. I've been using it on Linux, on Arch Linux, sorry, and on Windows and on OS X, and it works pretty much the same across all of them with the same configuration files. Um, and the last thing is you can actually access your Docker daemon from within the Docker container. So this is all set up. The requirements is obviously you need Docker. You need to share some directories like .ssh and the directory of your project with the Docker desktop UI on Windows and OS X. On Linux, you do not need to because it's already native. You need to have Docker Compose installed. You need VS Code, and you need the VS Code remote containers extension installed. That is very quick to do. Now, to set up a basic like project, what you do is okay. Let me show you. You go in VS Code. This is an empty directory called project. I can show you. I got nothing. Oops. Oh, yeah, I'm not on Linux. Yeah, I got nothing. Um, Now you just let me just copy paste the whole thing. You just select everything here and you paste it. All right. What did it do? It downloaded the file from GitHub and put them there in the directory .dev container. And this .dev container is specific to VS Code. So VS Code will know that the development container configuration is in there. So what you do now, you open the command palette. For me, I just press on Control Shift P. You can use, I think you can open it from Run. And I click on Remote Containers, Open Folder in Container. I click here, I click on Open, and now I wait. This will pull the Docker image automatically for you if you do not have it. And you can click here to have more details if you want to. Let's click here. All right, it's doing a bunch of things, blah blah blah. And here it's installing extensions that are described in the Docker extensions configuration file. We'll go over it in a minute. Okay, this takes a bit of time, and there's no way to pre-install it, unfortunately. All right, let's go to the welcome. Let's have a blank screen. All right, done. Yay. All right, now it's just saying a bunch of things that we don't really care. What matters is here, if you click on the plus here, you can, this will open a new terminal. And woo, ta-da, this is the terminal inside the container. So you can see there's now a custom terminal based on ZSH and per level 10K. And here it lists the shortcuts you can use. It is the Docker version you have running on your host, the VS Code server version, etc. So yeah, it works pretty well. And you can, of course, like install packages with like APK, like curl, I guess. Oh, you need to use sudo because you're not running as root. All right, for example, that's an example. Anyway, now let's go back to Go. Let's create a file. Let's call it main.go. Very original. All right, and we're gonna do package main. All right. It is complaining. Okay, now it's working. If I save, you see GoFMT runs and everything. Let's just do a function and see I have auto completion and all that. Hello. All right. And then, for example, here in the terminal, let me clear it up so you can see more clearer. You can run go run may not go. Hello, yeah. So everything works. You can build it for whatever OS natively you want with a Go cross compilation thing, and you have a bunch of linters. Now let's go in the settings. If you just want to use the container and don't care, you can stop at this point. You can leave. But if you're curious about like tweaking the container a bit to your taste, you may want to look into the remaining of the video. So let's start with the Docker Compose. Docker Compose is essentially here I create a VS Code service where the image is the Golang container. You can specify the tag Alpine or Debian. The default is Alpine. Um, Here I bind mount some volumes. I bind mount the works. This is you can see here pwd is a slash workspace. That's the directory in the container, and the dot slash means this directory, like your actual project workspace. So you want to bind mount it here. Bind mount also the SSH key to the VS Code user SSH directory as well as for root as read only, so that you can use your SSH keys with example git or go mode. And finally, I bind mount the var docker sock so that you can access Docker. So for example, if I do, I don't know, this, whoa, I get plenty of images, right? Um, Finally, TZ is the time zone. If you want to set it to have the correct times in the logs or whatever, you can set it. This is used, there's a reason for that. Don't ask me, I don't remember. But yeah, there's a reason for that. This as well, there's a reason for that. It's probably VS Code asking for it. And the entry point, okay, this is a bit silly, but this is a little hack such that the entry point means do nothing, like sleep 1,000 seconds and do nothing, then sleep again. So that the container, the VS Code server has the time to set up all the extensions and all that at the beginning. And then, well, this may be, actually, let me check, is it still active? Well, you can see there's a bunch of processes running. Yeah, it is still active, so it will sleep forever. Here, you can see. Um, and this is in a way such that the container never exits by itself. It will wait for VS Code to terminate it. Okay, now back. This is a bit more interesting, I guess. The dev container, the JSON, is where all the VS Code specific things happen. You can choose the name. This is probably related to the name of the container. Um, Service specifies the service in the Docker Compose that you want to run as the VS Code container. You can, of course, this is interesting. Sometimes in the Docker Compose file, you can run like a database or other things that you want to run locally for testing or whatever. So that's quite useful. For example, you can specify a post create command whenever these are all the defaults, by the way. You don't need to change it, but if you want to modify it, you can. Whenever it is the container is up, it's gonna go download to download all the dependencies for you. Um, okay, here are all the extensions. To me, they are quite useful. You can remove some if you feel like it. There's a golang.go obviously, and there are like a few other ones for like git and linters, like little life enhancers, let's say. Um, and finally, these are Go settings. You may not want to change that too much, I guess, but some of them you may want to. For example, use the Go please, Go PLS, right? Language server, which is very powerful now and quite stable. And this is the list of all the linters you have enabled with golangci-lint. There's a lot of them. Oh, that duplicate actually. I should remove that. It will build on save, lint on save, vet on save the entire workspace. You can change that to package, for example, if it takes too much CPU. You can specify tags for your Go commands within VS Code, and these are like test flags that you're gonna pass when you run a test within VS Code. That's pretty much it. There are other options you can search, not many, but most of them are here already. There are other options you can search on the VS Code documentation. But essentially, this allows you to have a container and have everything packaged in there, and you can share it with other developers, and they can just like Control Shift P, open the folder in container, and that's it. All the dev setup is there. For example, in my workspace, I mean not workspace, I mean at my job, I tend to install other things like I extend the Docker image with like kubectl, stern, like other like you know binary tools that I need for my work. So you can actually as well extend the Docker image. There's a section about it in the README. Um, Here, you can extend the Docker image with your own instructions. So you can follow these if you feel like it. Feel free to create an issue if you don't know what to do. I can help you. And yes, that will be it for today. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you enjoy this so much that it saves you a lot of time and money, feel free to you can sponsor me on GitHub or donate to me on PayPal. Maybe it's not you won't find it, but yeah, on GitHub it's quite easy to find. You can click on sponsor here. All right, thank you for watching and have a good day.